weight taken off my shoulders. It was exciting, and it was just a blessing.
Hey, Devontae, good luck this season. Let me say this, man, and I know we asked you a couple questions about last year. Know this from my standpoint, even when things fell apart, and I was very clear here on the station saying it, you delivered the whole year. You're unbelievable, man. So, look, you got a lot of people in Philadelphia that you're amongst their very favorite players. A great young wide receiver, not that young anymore, but I remember watching in Alabama in that title game. I remember that night, and James, you'll remember this the next day, I guess it was the next day, saying, that's the guy the Eagles should draft.
Yep.
And they got you. And you have delivered in your 3 years.
Yeah, that's the Eagles for the local radio stations, Matt Glaze and Devontae Smith. As y'all know, wide receiver for Philadelphia Eagles, the Heisman Trophy winner, was on WIP and interviewed him, man. So football's coming up. Football's practically here. I think we about like day 3 or 4 of training camp. So far, they say Jalen Hurts has been looking sharp in the new offense. Kellen Moore, a whole lot more motion. Basically getting the terminology down. They starting to put in the blitz packages. So, but I'm not surprised about any of that. The Eagles need to clean house on that coaching staff. The main culprit is still there, though, that damn Nick Sirianni. But I guess the front office didn't want to look too bad, man. And that's the reason why he's still here. Hopefully, if Kellen Moore and all that works out, what you kind of do is you let Nick Sirianni just play out his contract, or you get rid of his ass, especially if Kellen Moore is receiving offers, because what I predict is the Eagles are going to have one of the most prolific offenses this year, as opposed to some stupid behind polls I've seen or opinions of some of these so-called experts, they project the Eagles to have like the 9th best offense. And how the hell you going to have the 9th best offense when you got an all-pro quarterback, when you got when you loaded at wide receiver, when you got a nice tight end, loaded at running back, loaded at on the offensive line? How the hell are you going to have the 9th best offense in the league? These people are so predictable and so stupid. They're going off of last year. Last year when the Eagles pretty much suffered what I think was a Super Bowl hangover that caught them at the end. Also, a very ridiculous schedule that they had, especially that stretch down the end that they didn't properly recover from. Not making excuses, but like, just keep it real. We look at it and call it what it is. All right, so, man, look, Eagles about to we'll see. I ain't even gonna talk a whole lot. Y'all gonna see. Now, there's been some movement in the NFL. There's been some movement that I haven't really talked about, and this has been like the signing of a bunch of different quarterbacks. And I kind of want to speak on it, just in general. So you had Trevor Lawrence signed, Jared Goff signed. Just recently, I think it was yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa, as well as who's the other one? I think Herbert was signed as well, and just recently Jordan Love. Now, listen, before I get into each individual player, I'm just going to speak in general. I'm of the opinion that right now the league is in a bad place with this particular trend, we'll say. That trend is, the last quarterback who got signed, the last quote-unquote franchise quarterback who got signed gets X amount. So then the next guy up has to outdo the previous guy, regardless if the next guy up accomplished more than the previous guy, regardless if the next guy up has better numbers, has gotten further in the playoffs, has done more for his team. And I think that's a bad trend. I think it's just BS. Also, generally speaking, I'm of the belief that you pay the player, not the position. Right now, you have the position being paid and not the player. So this puts positions like, say, running back in a tough spot. where a running back could be the greatest player on the whole franchise, but he's getting paid less than positions that people perceive as being higher paying positions. I think that's bullshit. Ain't no way in the world, if you look at the Tennessee Titans from a few years ago, there's no way in the world you could tell me that Ryan Tannehill should be getting more money than Derrick Henry simply because he's a quarterback and Henry's a running back. That's bullshit. When everybody knows that what makes that offense go is Derrick Henry. Back when the Minnesota Vikings had AP, Adrian Peterson, for those who may not know. The different quarterbacks they had throughout his tenure, none of the quarterbacks were more impactful to that team than he was. None of them quarterbacks should have been getting more money than him. You're telling me now that the quarterback will get more money than him simply because he's a quarterback? That's BS. That's like saying that back in the 80s when you had Lawrence Taylor doing his thing, getting league MVPs, getting defensive players of the year, getting Super Bowls. That's like saying that Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler should have been getting more money than him simply because they're quarterbacks, when everybody knows the best player by far was Lawrence Taylor on that team. The guy that teams set up and planned for it the night before was not Phil Simms, but Lawrence Taylor, the guy that Buddy Ryan told the damn offense before facing Lawrence Taylor. He told them, we're going to block this guy every single play. Every play we're going to double him. We're going to double him every play. You're telling me that despite that, because he's not playing quarterback, he should get less money than the quarterback. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Players should be paid because of who they are, what they've accomplished, what they have brought, and what you project they will bring to the table. Not based on the fact that they play a position that's just highly paid. And I don't care how premium you think the position is. Now, I get it in today's NFL. Today's NFL is so copycat and so uncreative that everybody is just trying to find that next Tom Brady, because they've come to conclude that, man, you need that guy in order to win. And now they see Patrick Mahomes and a similar thing happening with him. You need that guy, in order to win. That's where we are. I don't agree with those narratives. I just simply do not agree with that narrative. Yeah, during the years of Tom Brady, and you also had Peyton Manning, and you also throw Aaron Rodgers kind of generally in that era, and I'll throw Kurt Warner in and so on. Yeah, you had those quarterbacks, and it kind of gave off the impression that the quarterback is the most responsible for each team. But I'm going to tell you this. When you look at the greatest show on turf, for example, that was led by Kurt Warner, the best player on that team was Marshall Faulk. All you got to do is look at when Faulk wasn't in the game, what happened. That's all you had to do. Marshall Faulk was the guy that they were more concerned about than anything. You stop Marshall Faulk, you stop the run, you got the best chance of beating the greatest show on turf was Kurt Warner. Though he was accurate and all of that, Kurt Warner was a bitch. If he didn't have Marshall Faulk to give the ball to or to check down to, dude was a bitch. For real. Same with guys like Peyton Manning. No, I love Peyton Manning. I'm not even gonna hold you. Peyton Manning, I think, deserved that money, though he had a development to that type of guy. For a good portion of his career, he was a bitch. He get to the playoffs, man, and I didn't even get into all of that. But Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk early on in his career, and Edgerrin James had a lot to do with his success. And the point I'm making here is, because of these elite guys and what they're doing, you have the rest of the league trying to emulate that. So they end up paying mediocre dudes like Kirk Cousins ridiculous amounts of money. Mediocre dudes like Dak Prescott, all types of money. Mediocre dudes like Sam Bradford, got all kinds of money. Mediocre as hell. All because teams develop this belief that the quarterback is the reason. And this is due to a lack of understanding of the game of football, lack of creativity. Because you can win, you can build a winner with defense. The Baltimore Ravens showed that twice by having a middle linebacker. The New York Giants, like I said before, did that. We're having an outside linebacker in Lawrence Taylor. There's other ways to win. And I like the old NFL because you have more people that understood that. Just find the strength of your team, and then what you do is you use that. Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, these guys are they come every 20 years or so, man. Every 10 years. Every team not going to have that dude. So they got to figure out a way to win with what they do have. Or find another strategy or whatever. And so Tua Tagovailoa, who I think is one of those guys that I don't believe you build a team around Tua like that. I just don't see it. I think Tua is a plug-and-play quarterback. If you look at the offense that they have with Tyreek Hill, with Jalen Waddle, bro, all you need is a motherfucker in there with a decent arm who's clutch. That's all I would look for. Motherfucker that's clutch. Because the thing about Tua, he can throw these nice little passes, his deep ball is, it's just easy throwing to Tyreek. He can do all that. But then when you need him to perform against the best teams and the best competition, the dude is horrible. He has a losing record against those teams. I ain't got the numbers in front of me, but is it 4-16 or something crazy? Same thing with Justin Herbert. Now, see, Justin Herbert has he has the Chargers by the balls. He has the Chargers by the balls. Justin Herbert, and I'll add Joe Burrow to this as well, but Burrow was able to accomplish a little bit more. But Justin Herbert has them caught because they look at his talent. They look at his size. They look at his off-script stuff. See, that's what happens a lot of times. The off-script shit oftentimes can deceive a GM, and it can deceive people. People love the off-script guys. People love Patrick Mahomes because of the off-script stuff. But the truth is the best quarterbacks are the ones that are the most consistent. I look at that. I look at consistency and I look at clutchness. I had a conversation with a guy not too long ago. Of course, I barbecued his ass. And I was asking him, why did you think Carson Wentz was better than Jalen Hurts? Because you had a lot of that going on around here in Philly. And he brings up this one play. Yeah, that time when Carson Wentz in 2017 when he was rushed and then he broke the pocket, he broke a tackle and all that, ran to the right and threw the touchdown to Nelson Aguilar. Then there's other time when Carson Wentz, broke the pocket, he scrambled around a little bit, and then he threw that strike to Miles Sanders and he caught it. That's why. I'm like, bro, that is a broken play. What did Carson Wentz do great consistently? That's the question you got to answer. Does he have a consistent out route? Does he have a consistent slant pass? What does he do consistently? Because that's when you need a franchise guy. Not the ability to do some off-script stuff here and there. Though that's needed, but you want the foundation of the quarterback should not be, well, he has generational talent. That should not be the foundation. The foundation should be that this dude has the right mindset. That this dude is really built to be a leader. That this dude is really going to be healthy. And that this dude is consistently doing the basics well. And that's my problem with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert can do all that fly shit, all that flashy stuff. But when it comes to the basics, does he consistently do the basics well? That's all. That's all I ask. Does he consistently make the right read? Now with Jalen Hurts, who a lot of people would say Justin Herbert is better than, which I don't agree. With Jalen Hurts, in 2022, he was consistently doing the simple stuff well. Consistently doing the simple stuff well. Problem with Hurts is he was in a very gimmicky offense. So I'm happy to see him now transitioning more to a West Coast style offense, or an iteration of the West Coast offense, which has West Coast concepts, because the West Coast offense has staying power. Certain offenses throughout history have staying power. The number system has staying power that was ran by the Buffalo Bills in the 90s, which has different iterations. The Romeo Crennel stuff has staying power, but people add, not Romeo Crennel, Don Coryell stuff that people have added different iterations of, right? As well as the West Coast offense. And it's all of its different variations and iterations, which we can get into some other time, have staying power. And I'm glad the Eagles actually returning back more so to their roots, at least during the Jeffrey Lurie years. Their roots are the West Coast offense. This is what we did when we brought in Ray Rhodes. This is what we did when we brought in Andy Reid. We veered away from it with Chip Kelly and his bullshit, but then we tried to get back to it with Doug Peterson. And then here we went with this gimmicky thing. The Eagles, see what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles is the Philadelphia Eagles won in 2017 with Nick Foles running some of Chip Kelly stuff. Because Doug Peterson, wisely, this is why I fucking will always love Doug Peterson. He was running a particular offense with Carson Wentz in 2017. Carson Wentz goes down. Nick Foles becomes our quarterback, and we got to find a way for Nick Foles to keep this momentum and get us through the playoffs. Nick Foles was comfortable with the concepts that Chip Kelly brought, the RPOs and all that shit, right? So Doug did not force Nick Foles to run his stuff. He asked Nick, he had a conversation with him. All right, what do you like? What are you comfortable with? So he started implementing some of Chip's stuff. And then Nick Foles caught that same fire that he caught that time when he was running Chip's offense, where he had 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He caught that right going into the Super Bowl. And really, it was so great because Bill Belichick had no plan to stop the offense that we had, because we weren't running it all year. He couldn't find what coaches like Bill Belichick like to do. He likes to find a 4-game sample size, the most recent 4 games, and then playing against all those plays. He couldn't find none of that shit. And this is why Doug Peterson was a genius for making that move. But at any rate, that was the thing about Nick. He was clutch. That clutchness, bro, y'all don't understand, man. The one common thread between all the quarterbacks that have won is that there's different arm strengths, there's different levels of athleticism, there's different, all that shit is different. And that's all unique, God-given stuff. But the main ingredient for a quarterback that wins consistently is that he knows how to block out all the bullshit, to block out all the distractions, and focus on the task at hand when the time comes, and is able to perform. Not everybody can do that. Only the special ones can do that. And some of these dudes, I don't know if they got that. I don't know if Justin Herbert has that, bro. I done seen him in too many situations where he got the ball in his hand and he doesn't deliver. He might, but I don't know. I don't know if Dak Prescott has that, man. Forget all them numbers and all that bullshit. When it's time to perform at the time where performance is most needed, can you block out all the distractions? Can you block out all the naysayers? Can you block out all the negativity? And can you focus on the task at hand and execute in that moment? I don't know, bro. I haven't seen him do it. I got that question about Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence. I haven't seen him do it. He had a nice... Now, I'm a little bit more impressed with him than Herbert, because Herbert had him up 28-0. And really, that was mostly because of Asante Samuel Jr. Herbert had him up nothing. Herbert had him up. I think it was Asante Samuel Jr. It was one of them old head corners' sons. All Herbert had to do was put up like one touchdown like within the second half. And, bro, come on, man. Generational talent, you got to get that shit done. Now, Trevor Lawrence won that game, but outside of that, I mean, I don't know if he got that. Jordan Love, let me tell you something. Jordan Love blew me away last year. His performance against the Cowboys blew me away. The majority of his performance against the 49ers, the majority of it, blew me away. Blew me away. I like, yo, this dude is the next one. But I ain't gonna lie, I think it's a little too early to go there with him. Because that one little last thing, that clutchness, that's what the Packers have to be banking on. I don't know if they're thinking the way I'm thinking, but that's the one thing they're going to have to be banking on, man. But as far as his talent, I like, yeah, he blew me away. And I rarely get blown away by talent. Rarely. I'm blown away by the mental stuff. I'm more of a mentalist. I'm more into that. Like I place a crazy premium on mental toughness. And that's why I was all for getting Jalen Hurts coming out. Like when he got drafted and all these Eagles fans were out here tripping and all these content creators out here bugging and all that kind of shit, I was sitting there like, well, this guy was in a couple national championship games. This guy was his coach. He had a coach that gave up on him. He transferred and reemerged with better passing numbers. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait and see. And I think what happened with Carson Wentz was, I think the ownership got to a point where they just didn't like him as a person. And there's something with the Eagles, man. Jeffrey Lurie, he likes to have this family atmosphere. And what him liking you as a person sometimes like plays a big role in whether or not he want to stay with you long term. I'm telling y'all, the reason why Jalen Hurts is fine and all these stupid ass dudes coming on the radio, L.A. Shore Parks, Howard Eskin, and all them, talking about like if he don't have a good year this year, they'll move on from him after giving him all that money. Nah, let me tell you something. The only thing that can mess it up with Hurts and Lurie is if Lurie loses faith in the man Jalen Hurts is. Lurie is actually in awe of Jalen Hurts. Like, far as the man that he is. He is. Y'all don't get, Jalen Hurts is one of them dudes that is just he's a beast when it comes to like, he is just the first dude there every morning, 4:30 a.m., 5 o'clock a.m., whatever it is, and the last dude out. Everybody attests to that. He's in the weight room, training with the big dudes, squatting what they squat, doing what they do. He quizzes his wide receivers. Like, you know, the wide receivers walking through the damn facility, they see Hurts coming, they ready to turn around because he'll walk up to him and quiz him on the playbook. All right, so when this route is called and we see this look, what do you do? Stuff like that. Right? That's the type of boy he is. And they just think he's a thorough dude. Like I try to explain to some of you what thorough mean. It's a word that we use. He's just thorough. You know. And as long as he's that, Jeffrey Lurie will believe in him. Jeffrey Lurie believes in those things, man. I like the way he dealt with the media yesterday because the media want to Toby him. They want him to go up there and apologize and take all his accountability for what happened and all that. I don't know what's wrong with these dudes. They don't care about the truth. They just want the quarterback to go up there and say, oh, it was all my fault. You know, I take the blame. They believe that's good character over telling the damn truth. When did that happen? What part of the game is that? But that's what they want. I like the fact that when they start asking him questions, he interrupted the ball and he just started telling it his way. He took control of it. That's what I like about Hurts, man. That's what I like about him. He's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of these dudes, even though they think they're the ones with the intellect. Nah, you ain't just ran into a typical dumb nigga. Nah, this dude is thorough. So back to these quarterbacks anyway, man. I know I keep going on for these Eagle tangents. I can't help it. I bleed green. Justin Herbert, I don't think should have got that contract, but I understand it. They're just looking at him, 6'4", 6'5", whatever he is, looking at his talent, and they gamble it. But what they did do, though, is bringing in Harbaugh was the right move. Because what Harbaugh was going to do, he got rid of all them old head dudes, Keenan Allen and all them, even though I love all them dudes. He got rid of all that. He going to bring in fresh, new guys. Herbert, what Harbaugh will likely do if you follow his track record, he'll likely build a defense. He'll build Herbert the best offensive line he ever had. And he's going to have Herbert hand the ball off a lot, which is the right way. Hand the ball off a lot. And then on third down and money down, that's when you let Herbert perform. That's what you do. That's what I would do. You got to have a process that's going to build towards what you want. Because before, what they were doing was just trash. It was just trash. Like, people assume, like, Herbert actually was having issues recognizing coverages on defense, all types of stuff. But everybody assumed that he could do that because he's a white boy. That's what happens with these quarterbacks. They just think white quarterbacks are just always able to read defenses and all of that. Black quarterbacks can't. And people hate hearing this, but it's the truth. Every black quarterback, that's the main thing. Can he read a defense and all this kind of stuff? Listen, a play not succeeding is not always about a quarterback not being able to read the damn defense. You can read a defense and still have a play fail. That's what it be blowing my mind about these dudes. Sometimes your timing can be off for whatever reason. Sometimes the defense just wins. I mean, there's all types of reasons why those things can happen. It's not always, you can't read the defense. Dudes is crazy. But Herbert was having issues with that stuff. Those are the reports that were coming out of Chargers. But he, with his talent, was able to overcome a lot of stuff. Similar to how quarterbacks like Hurts and Lamar and all of them, sometimes when they don't read things properly, they can overcome with their talent. They can run, they can make off-script plays, all types of stuff. So, but I get it why they gave Herbert that money. Goff, they had to. You talking about the Detroit. Detroit is happy right now. Like, I remember last year when they lost to the 49ers, and I comment on that game. I was going in on Dan Campbell. And guess what happened? Detroit Lion fans came into my comments saying they was going in on me. Then I got the nerve to be mad at Dan Campbell. They were defending the hell out of this dude. So I'm like, oh, okay. But I understand that because I'm an Eagles fan. And Eagle expectations are way higher than, say, Detroit expectations. The Lions, Lions fans are looking at it like, shit, we back, we in the running, we in the race, we in the conversation. Whereas Eagle fans, for us, it's Super Bowl or bust damn near every year. That's just our mindset. Because, we, for years, have been close damn near every year. But just haven't been cashing in as much as we, with the frequency that we feel we should. Based off the talent and the way our team is. So, Goff, I understand. Yeah, you paid Goff. Because Goff earned it. He did. He been to a Super Bowl with the Rams. And he been to the, and for Detroit, he's been to the championship game. And they should have won that game. Oh my God, they should have won that game. I can't even, man. I just, bro. So yeah, there's that. Tua, I wouldn't have gave Tua that damn money. I'm sorry. I think Tua's plug and play. And then his health concerns me. I think the structure they have, what they have around Tua, all those receivers, bro. I don't know, but that's their franchise, man. That's what they want to do. Cool. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And Jordan Love, I get it. I get it why the Packers did it. But it's a gamble because you still don't know if he's clutch. And I understand, teams don't know how to, gauge and measure clutchness. It's more of a feel, I guess, and, they had Aaron for all those years, and Aaron has improved the clutchness gene. Aaron Rodgers is one of the most talented quarterbacks I ever seen, but like he be in them situations where he just don't come through, man. Times where he could have ran, he didn't run. Times where he could have beat like that game against Tampa Bay a couple years ago. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous, man. That he didn't handle, that he didn't get that done. That was crazy. So yeah, let me go ahead, man. I got a lot to do right here. Just wanted to just holler at y'all real quick. Peace out.